For Morgan Mustangs baseball on B106 and B106.com, Chris Bullbrom in Windsor, Colorado, alongside me, Braden Snyder, and the teams have just taken the field, just finished the national anthem. Today's Mustang Express brought to you by B&B Appliance at 502 Ensign in downtown Fort Morgan, the place to shop for all your appliance needs. B&B Appliance, a member of the Brand Source Retail Program. And we talked with the head coach of Fort Morgan briefly when we got here, and it looks like the player they're keeping an eye on is the first baseman for Windsor today, and that first baseman is DJ Knott. And what we've heard, Braden, is that this is quite the stud baseball player for Windsor.
Yeah, he's a deep threat to take the ball over any fence. They said he hit a couple deep balls early this season, and he's off to a good start. And talking with the coach, Josh Langford, he said last year he hurt him pretty bad in Morgan, and the size of the field, just to put it in perspective for you, is Windsor's field quite a bit deeper than Fort Morgan's. We're only 340 to the center. Here we are 380. 320 down the right field line, and my vision is blocked for the left field line.
Looks like about 350 down the left field line.
So Mustangs have hit a few home runs this year. They have not as many now that we're out of the Spring Classic. So see how the Mustangs do. I'd like to see a lot of longer doubles and longer base hits.
All right, as the Mustangs get ready to come up to bat, the Mustangs starting lineup brought to you by Cargill Meat Solutions. Cargill Meat Solutions takes as much pride in the community as they do in the products they provide to their consumers, part of the KSIR B106 Scholarship Program. Leading things off, the left fielder, number 6, David Mendez. Batting second on the mound today, Matt Godo. Hitting third today, Michael Fitzsimmons. He will be playing shortstop. Cole Frisbee is in the cleanup spot, and he is playing first base. And here's the first pitch, and that first pitch brought to you by Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance. Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance locally in Fort Morgan and Brush offers home, health, auto, farm, business, and workers' compensation insurance. The second pitch is a called strike, and that moves the count to 1-1 to the leadoff hitter, to David Mendez. Batting fifth for Fort Morgan is the DH, James Martins. And here's the 1-1 pitch, and that one misses high and tight, and that's going to move the count to 2-1 strike. And that pitch is swung on and missed. Good fastball down in the zone, and the count moves to 2-2. On the mound today for Windsor, the big right-hander, Tanner Weimers. And that one is lined back up the middle, picked up by the shortstop. Throw on to first is in time for the out. Big pickup by the by the shortstop, Lance Cox, who makes the throw on to first. One out here in the top of the first inning. Next up for the Mustangs is the pitcher, Matt Godo. Tanner Weimers, a big right-hander from the windup. Here's the first pitch, and that one misses off the outside corner. 1-0 to Matt Godo. The 1-0 pitch, and that one misses low, and the count moves to 2-0.
See T.O. Charlie's for a great used car truck today. If you don't see what you want on the lot, they will find it for you at 700 West Platte Avenue in Fort Morgan.
And that's a called strike, and the count moves to 2-1 strike to Godo. Godo again on the mound today for the Mustangs, batting second in the lineup with one down here in the top of the first from Windsor High School. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That one's chopped foul down the third base line, and that'll get out of play. 2-2 strikes.
Not quite sure what that pitch was. Kind of started out low and then rode up in the zone. Maybe some sort of two-seam fastball that kind of rode up on him, or maybe a different slider that got away.
Looks like Weimers got some good velocity, good movement on his pitches today. And here's the 2-2 pitch to Godo. That one's chopped back to the mound. Weimers with a big hop, and he makes the throw over to first for an easy out. And that's 2 away here in the top of the first.
Up for the Fort Morgan Mustangs will be shortstop, number 14, Mike Fitzsimmons.
Mike Fitzsimmons is next up. He's hitting third today and playing shortstop for the Mustangs. 2 down here in the top of the first inning. No score from Windsor High School, and the first pitch is lashed foul down the right field line. 1 ball and no strikes.
And Chris, that's the first pitch that we've seen that's been airborne. Everything else has been chopped, foul, and ground balls. Weakly hit.
So far, Weimer's doing a good job of keeping the ball down. Like we said, he's got good velocity, good movement down in the zone. Weimer's works out of the windup with nobody on. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and that one is just high, just above the belt, and that's going to move the count to 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that moves inside. Oh, they did call it a strike. All right, a little bit of a late call there, but 1 ball and 2 strikes. Looked a little inside to me, but I'm not wearing a blue shirt today. And that ball misses down and away, and the count moves to 2-2.
Fitzsimmons did a good job to hold up his swing there as he wanted that pitch.
He was looking for it on the outside corner, but he did a nice job to hold back. And here's the 2-2 pitch to Fitzsimmons, and that one does miss inside, and that'll run the count full. Fitzsimmons, right-hander against right-hander. Here's the 3-2 pitch, and that's lined back up the middle. Diving try by the second baseman that it's going to get into center field for a base hit. A 2-out base hit for Mike Fitzsimmons, the shortstop for Morgan. And that's going to put a runner at first with 2 down, and Cole Frisbee, the first baseman, coming up.
First baseman, number 25, Cole Frisbee.
Frisbee, the big left-hander, stands in here with a runner on first. Weimers from the stretch with a runner on. He takes a look at first. And here's the first pitch, and that's fouled straight back to the screen, right towards our heads. And that's going to move the count to 0 ball and 1 strike. Weimers comes set on the mound. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and that one's in the dirt. A nice block by the catcher for Windsor. Medina, he makes a nice stop in the dirt on that breaking ball down in the zone, and that's going to make the count 1-1 to Cole Frisbee. And a throw over to first to chase back the runner Fitzsimmons, but he dives back in there safe. Frisbee, a big, strong left-hander, steps in the box. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that's chopped foul towards the backstop. And the count is now 1-2.
Ackley Building Center, your one-stop center for projects around your home, office, or yard. Ackley Building Center, located at 1402 Mill Street in Brush.
The runner at first, Fitzsimmons, gets about a 2-step lead. Weimer's out of the stretch, and that's swung on and missed. And that's going to do it for the top of the first inning. Frisbee strikes out. 1 hit in the inning, 1 left on, no runs. We move on to the bottom of the first. The Fort Morgan Mustangs, nothing. The Windsor Wizards coming to bat on B106 and B106.com. No scores. We move to the bottom of the first inning here at Windsor High School. The Fort Morgan Mustangs taking on the Windsor Wizards on B106 and B106.com. Chris Bullbrom joined by Braden Snyder here on a gorgeous Thursday afternoon. And as we take a look at the defensive alignment for the Mustangs today, Matt Goto is on the mound playing first base. Cole Frisbee, Ulysses Hernandez is at second. Michael Fitzsimmons, the shortstop. Aaron Anderson at third. The outfield from left to right, David Mendez, Nick Garver in center, and Nate Alexander in right field, and Justin Flug is behind the plate. And the first pitch of the inning is swung on and missed for a strike to the shortstop, Lance Cox. Lance Cox leading off here for the Windsor Wizards. Here's the second pitch from Goto, and that one's fouled back over the screen and out of play. And quickly, 0 balls and 2 strikes to Lance Cox. Batting second today, the pitcher for Windsor, Tanner Weimers. The big 0-2 pitch in the dirt, 1-2. The big first baseman, DJ Knott, hitting third today for Windsor. That one is lined between third and short for a solid base hit. A good 1-2 strike swing by Lance Cox for a leadoff single.
And up for the Wizards, pitcher, number 7, Tanner Weavers.
As I mentioned, Tanner Weimer is the pitcher hitting second today. He steps up with a runner at first and nobody out. Cox getting a lead from first, and the first pitch is a called strike on the inside corner. Boy, I tell you what, I like watching Godo pitch. He's a hard-throwing right-hander. He's got a nice delivery as he makes a throw over to first to chase the runner back, and there's a bunt down the first base line, and that's going to bounce foul to move the count to no balls and 2 strikes to Travis Weimers.
One thing about Godo is he does not like to work slow. He gets the pace up and keeps it there.
Absolutely, and that's what you want to do if you're Fort Morgan. You want to keep this, don't give them time to think about it. Just get back on the mound and keep working. Here's Godo from the stretch, and he makes another throw to first, and the runner stumbles, and he still manages to get his hand back in there under the tag. They're calling him safe. He stumbled trying to make the slide, and it looked like they were able to get the tag on him at first, but the second base referee is saying he's safe.
I thought I saw Frisbee get the tag on his lead arm in, and I agree completely with Josh Langford right here as he's out of the dugout trying to overturn this call.
Yeah, Langford out having a word with the umpire. Like I said, it looked like an awfully close call. It looked like they had him, but here's the 0-2 pitch anyway, and that's swung on and missed. And there's the first out. A nice pitch up in the zone, high heat from Godo, and he's able to get Weimers on 3 pitches for the first out. This is the player that Langford said they needed to watch out for today. DJ Knott, big right-handed first baseman, and just looking at him, you know this is a power-hitting guy. Godo from the stretch. Now Lance Cox gets his lead, and the first pitch, a nice off-speed pitch on the inside corner for a called strike. I don't think Knott was expecting something off-speed there to start the at-bat.
Definitely not. You expect a fastball on that first pitch. Off-speed pitch in on his hand. He didn't want that at all.
Godo misses up high with the ball, and it's now 1-1. We were talking with Coach Langford before the game this afternoon, and he said this Knott is a good power-hitting corner infielder, and if we have to walk him, we have to walk him. We can't let him hurt us, and if we need to move around him, we will. That one, he takes a mighty rip on a fastball, and he comes up with nothing. And it's now 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Good hard fastball by Godo to work that count up there.
He's just coming at him. He said, here's my fastball. If you can hit it, hit it. He wasn't able to catch up. Godo with the 1-2, and that one is lifted down the left field line. The left fielder giving chase. It's drifting into foul territory. And it looks like it's out of play. And the count holds at 1 ball and 2 strikes. And you saw it right there, nice fluid swing, and he just lifted that ball down the left field line, and it just kept carrying and carrying and carrying. DJ Knott with some serious power. Another throw back to first, and the runner back safe. And that one's lined back up into center field. Cox coming around first. He's heading to third. The throw back in. They're going to hold the runner at first and the runner at third. A single for DJ Knott, moving runners to first and third with 1 down here in the top of the first.
Runners at first and third. 2 up for the Wizards. Left fielder, number 9, Mitchell Winner.
Buildings by Design. The most important thing to buying a new building or starting a new design build project is picking the right company to build it. Call Pat Walter, Travis Beaver, or Jared Samples for your free bid. 970-842-5837. BuildingsByDesign.com.
Stepping in for the Windsor Wizards, the left fielder today, Mitchell Winner, takes a healthy rip, and that's a strike as he comes up with no ball, and it is 0-1 to the left fielder. Lance Cox, the runner at third, he led off the inning with a base hit. DJ Knott, the runner at first, and there's another base hit. Well, that's popped up, and it looked like the second baseman lost it in the sun. They're going to be able to recover and get the out at the out at second to get the force out. The runner does score from third, moving the score to 1-0 in favor of the Windsor Wizards. Just a flare of a pop-up to second, and it looked like the second baseman, Hernandez, just lost it in the sun. Couldn't get a good read on it. They were able to recover and get the out at second, but now there's a runner at first with 2 down and a runner in, and in stepping is Duncan Goodrich as he takes a called strike 1, the third baseman for Windsor.
Good breaking ball by Godo as that Windsor batter backed away from that pitch. Didn't expect that pitch to try and hit him, and broke back over the plate nicely.
Godo with the 0-1, another good pitch, this one on the outside corner for a called strike. And I will give Godo credit. He's done a good job of getting ahead of these Windsor hitters. Unfortunately, and that is a called strike 3 on the outside corner, and that's the third out. 2 hits in the inning, and a fielder's choice lead to a run. We head to the top of the second. The Windsor Wizards over the Fort Morgan Mustangs 1-0 on B106 at B106.com. And we're back at the top of the second inning as Fort Morgan trails the Windsor Wizards by a score of 1-0 on B106 and B106.com. I'm Chris Brom, joined by Braden Snyder, and a couple of singles in the bottom of the first and a fielder's choice led to a run for the Wizards. And now the Mustangs are going to look to get that run back, as leading things off will be Aaron Anderson. That's James Martins. Thank you, Brady. If I could read my own handwriting, I'd know where I was at. And the first pitch to Martins is fouled back and out of play, and it's 0-1. Tanner Reimers with the pitch, misses in the dirt, 1 ball, 1 strike to Martins. DHing today for the Fort Morgan Mustangs. Reimers getting the sign. There's the windup and the 1-1 pitch, and that breaking ball is on the inside corner for a called strike 2.
Looks like the inside part of the plate is open for that umpire.
Yeah, he's definitely calling the inside strikes, especially on those breaking balls. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and that's a called strike 3 on the outside corner. And already 1 down here in the top of the first inning. Or excuse me, in the top of the second inning.
Aaron Anderson.
Now stepping up, Aaron Anderson, the third baseman for Fort Morgan, a tall left-handed hitter, swings back up the box there, picked up by the second baseman. Long throw on to first, but he beats it out. Good hustle by Aaron Anderson if he's able to leg out the base hit. Wasn't hit hard back up the middle, and Anderson with some big long strides able to make it to first before the throw.
Almost looked like that ball came off the handle of the bat. That's the way it sounded.
He did not get a real good swing on it. Looks like a slow infield here today with the longer grass, and Anderson able to make it work out for him. Stepping up now, Nick Garver, the center fielder, and he squares around to bunt. The ball gets away from the catcher, but he's able to recover quickly, and Anderson has to stay put at first. And it's 1 ball and no strikes to Nick Garver. The runner at first, Anderson, he hit an infield single, gets a good 2-step lead. Nick Garver steps into the box. Reimers with a throw over to first, and the runner dives back in safe. One balls, no strikes to the center fielder for Fort Morgan. Reimers from the stretch. Here's the pitch, and that's right down the middle for a called strike 1.
Not a pitch I expected to see there. I expected a breaking ball, curve ball, something a little bit different.
Well, you expect him to throw something down in the zone, try to get double play ball here, shorten up the inning. Reimers from the stretch. Here's the 1-1 pitch. And that one misses low and away and in the dirt, and it's now 2-1. I'll tell you what, Reimers has got some wicked movement on that breaking stuff, and the first couple innings, the catcher has been busy back there. Another throw over to first. Anderson dives back in. 2 balls, 1 strike to the center fielder for the Fort Morgan Mustangs, Nick Garver. Aaron Anderson hit a 1-out infield single. That pitch misses tight, and it's now 3-1 to Garver. Anderson hit an infield single to the second baseman, just a chopper off the handle, and he was able to beat it out. 1-0 here in the top of the second with 1 out. Windsor leads over Fort Morgan. Here's the 3-1 pitch, and that misses outside, and that's a 5-pitch walk to the center fielder Garver, and now we've got runners at first and second here with 1 away. And stepping in, the right fielder, Nate Alexander.
Good at bat for Garver. Kind of drove that pitch count up, and I believe that's the deepest pitch count we've seen so far.
Yes, we had one full count back in the first inning, but other than that, Weimer's doing a good job of getting ahead early, limiting the pitch count. Right now he's at 29 total pitches. Runners at first and second. Here's the first pitch to Alexander, and that misses low and away for a ball. Here's what I'm noticing about Weimer's. He likes to go after that low outside corner.
And he's been consistent since the first pitch of the game. He really hasn't changed much.
He's really doing a good job of keeping the ball down in the zone, but unfortunately he can't seem to catch that low outside corner. He's missing in the dirt, short-arming those pitches. Here's the 1-0 pitch. And that one's hit fairly well to right field. The right fielder going back, and it is over his head. It's going to bounce up against the wall. The runner around second, he will be waved on home. The throw in, and they're going to hold the runner at third. It's a 1-out double for Nate Alexander to score a run, and it's now 1-1 as the Mustangs are able to come back and regain that run they gave up last inning on a 1-out RBI double from Nate Alexander, scoring Aaron Anderson from second. Nick Garver moves on to third.
It's a good hard-hit ball. Really the first ball we've seen put in play that's been hit hard.
And that ball just sort of keeps seeming to carry away from the right fielder. The first pitch is foul down the right field line.
And this wind is blowing in and kind of in and towards the left field fence, so that ball kind of went against the grain.
Ulises Hernandez, the hitter for Fort Morgan, and he's down 0-1, and he swings and misses, and it's now 0-2. Nick Garver, the runner at third. Nate Alexander, the runner at second. He doubled, drove in a run. And at the plate, the second baseman, Ulises Hernandez, and he's down 0-2, and there's another pitch down and away in the dirt, a nice block by the catcher, and the count is 1-2. One to one here in the top of the second inning from Windsor High School. And here's the 1-2 pitch, and that's slashed foul back over the screen. And Hernandez does a good job to fight and stay alive as the count stays at 1-2. That was a defensive swing from Hernandez there. He was able to just fight it off and keep himself alive here with the 1-2 count. There's a 1-2 pitch, and that's just flailed out on the outside corner, and that's strike number 3. And they're now 2 down here in the top of the second. Really didn't seem like Hernandez saw that pitch all too well. He just sort of flailed at it, I think trying to get a little piece of it and keep himself alive. Unfortunately, it just sort of kept running away from his bat. So we've got 2 down here in the top of the second. The score tied at 1 apiece. Runners at second and third. And stepping up, the leadoff hitter, David Mendez, playing left field today. And the first pitch is a called strike. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and that one misses in the dirt. And it's now 1 ball, 1 strike.
Looks like they're going to call that first pitch a ball.
Oh, so it's 2-0. All right. There's the first strike.
Umpire delayed call, and I didn't I didn't catch it. I was looking down at my sponsor sheet.
So the count is 2-1 to the leadoff hitter, David Mendez, with 2 outs here. And that one misses low and a touch outside. It's now 3-1. Here's the 3-1 pitch from Weimers, and that one's hit well in between third and short. That's going to bring 1 home and maybe 2. They're going to send the runner around third, and he will score without a throw. And the Fort Morgan Mustangs now lead by a score of 3-1, courtesy of a good 2-out base hit from the left fielder, David Mendez.
And now for the Mustangs, pitcher number 41, Matt Godo.
Morgan Central Bank, your one-stop shop for all of your banking and investment needs, from checkings to savings to IRAs. 321 Ensign Street, Morgan Central Bank. There's a difference. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Throw to first as the runner dives back safe. The wind picking up just a little bit here in Windsor as Matt Godo, the pitcher, steps in for his second out. He grounded out to the pitcher his first time up, a weak ground out to the pitcher. And here's the first pitch, and that's lined back up the middle, picked up and bobbled by the second baseman. And that's going to be an error on the Windsor second baseman as he wasn't able to pick the ball up. And now there's runners at first and second.
Mendez, second base on the play.
And it looks like we're going to have a courtesy runner here.
Now a shortstop for Mustangs, number 14, Mike Fitzsimmons.
What number is that?
Number 19.
Number 19. All right. Sergio Baccaris, the courtesy runner for Matt Godo, as the Mustangs now lead by a score of 3-1 here in the top of the second inning.
Courtesy running for the Mustangs.
And stepping in, Mike Fitzsimmons, the shortstop, who hit a solid single his first time up. The runners take their leads with 2 down here. And that one's chopped back up the middle, picked up by the shortstop, tosses over to second for the force out, and that's going to take care of the Mustangs here in the top of the second. But they're able to pick up a couple of runs, courtesy of 2 hits, a walk, and an error. With the runner left on, we move on to the bottom of the second with the Mustangs leading 3-1 on B106 and B106.com. The Fort Morgan Mustangs lead by a score of 3-1 as we move on to the bottom of the second inning here at Windsor High School on B106 and B106.com. Chris Fulbrom joined by Braden Snyder on a gorgeous yet breezy Thursday afternoon. And here's the first pitch from Matt Godo, and it's a called strike to the catcher Medina. Greg Medina getting his first at bat here, and he's down no balls and 1 strike. Godo working quickly, another pitch right down the middle, called strike 2. Godo doing a good job of working quickly, pounding the strike zone. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That one bounces in the dirt.
Looked like he tried to throw a curveball there.
It looked like he just tried to cut that curveball a little too soon, and he only got about 58 feet. Godo with the 1-2 pitch to Medina. That one misses high. A little high cheese from Godo, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. And that one hit him. An inside pitch that hit Medina, and he's going to take his base to lead off the bottom of the second here. Godo just trying to work the inside corner, and unfortunately that one came in and got him. So Greg Medina heads to first. And stepping in
running for the catcher
will be right fielder Quentin Moot. And we've got a courtesy runner. And it looks like right guard Takanaga will be the courtesy runner at first base. Quentin Moot, the right fielder, steps in. The runner takes his lead from first, and there's the throw over. And one thing I'm noticing so far here in the first couple innings, both pitchers doing a good job of keeping an eye on the runner, not letting them get too far off base. That one is lined hard to left field. A diving catch by the left fielder. Wow, what a catch. And that's going to be the first out of the inning. Looked like a sinking line drive, and the left fielder, David Mendez, able to get there in a hurry. And he laid out, made the catch, and there's now one away. I would have put that in the Sports Center top 10. That was a nice diving play. That's going to bring up Luke Pape, the center fielder, and the runner takes off. The pitch is called a ball. The throw is not in time, and that's going to be a stolen base for the courtesy runner, Raikar Tuakunaga. As he's in there safely at second, a stolen base, and the ball on the pitch missing inside. It's 1-0 to the hitter Pape, and there's now one down with a runner at second. That pitch is swung on and missed. A good high fastball from Godo, and Pape unable to catch up. It's 1-1. And there's a turn and throw to second. The runner is back in safe. Again, pitcher's doing a good job of keeping an eye on the runners.
Mustangs have had a lot of success this year working that back pick, and they've had quite a few batters that they've thrown out.
Godo with the 1-1. That one is popped foul and out of play over the first base dugout. It's 1-2 to Luke Pape.
Central Auto Parts for all your auto supply needs. Stop by Central Auto Parts at West Platte Avenue in Fort Morgan.
The 1-2 pitch from Godo is swung on and missed. Good high speed from Godo, and he's able to get Luke Pape on the strikeout, and there's now two down here in the bottom of the second. That's going to bring up the second baseman, Patrick Fisher, and he pops one foul over our heads and out of play, and it's 0-1. Fisher getting his first debut of the day, playing second base for the Wizards. As he stands in against the right-hander Godo, here's the 0-1 pitch, and that one misses high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Wind picking up here a little bit. The runner at second gets his lead. Godo with the 1-1 pitch, missing way outside, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Looked like Godo trying to get a little extra break on the ball and into the way outside. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and that misses high and a little bit inside, and it's now 3-1 to Patrick Fisher. The runner at second, Raikard Takunaga, running for the catcher, Medina. He stole second with 1 out, and that one misses high, and that's a walk to put runners at first and second here with 2 down as we go back to the top of the order with the shortstop, Lance Cox. Cox singled and scored back in the top of the first, the bottom of the first. Godo comes set from the stretch. Here's the first pitch to Cox, and that breaking ball misses inside, perhaps a little bit below the knees, and it's 1 ball, no strikes. Another turn and throw to second. The runner dives back in safely, and it's still 1-0 to the runner, or to the hitter, Lance Cox. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and that's a good breaking ball on the inside corner. For a called strike 1, it's now 1-1. Godo from the stretch, the 1-1 pitch is popped to left field. The left fielder Mendez underneath it. They make an easy catch, and that's going to do it for the Wizards here in the bottom of the second inning. A hit batter, a walk, a couple of runners left on, but no runs scored. We head to the top of the third with the Fort Morgan Mustangs leading 3-1 on B106 and B106.com. 3-1, Fort Morgan Mustangs lead over the Windsor Wizards as we take you to the top of the third inning. Chris Bullbrom alongside Braden Snyder at Windsor High School in Windsor, Colorado on a breezy Thursday afternoon. And stepping in to lead things off here in the third inning is the first baseman, Cole Frisbee. Frisbee struck out in the top of the first inning, and he takes the first pitch from Tanner Wiemers for a called strike one. Game moving along rather quickly, both pitchers working fast as Wiemers winds up and fires, and that one is lashed foul out of play down the left field line, and it's quickly 0-2.
Premier Farm Credit, committed to serving those in production ag. Premier Farm Credit, the gold standard in ag lending.
Wiemers with the 0-2 delivery, and that one is popped up towards second base. The second baseman going back, he dives, and it's out of his reach, and that is going to be a base hit for Cole Frisbee. Just a little flare towards second, and it just, a lot like that double last inning, just sort of kept floating away from the second baseman as he went back after it.
Must get caught up in the wind, and the wind kind of holds it up there a little bit longer than the fielders are expecting.
Well, as we've talked about, the wind kind of shifting around a little bit today, and that's going to bring in James Martin. A nice bunt down the third baseline, and he's going to dig it out. A good bunt by the DH, James Martin, and he was able to beat that out, and now we've got runners at first and second with nobody out. He just laid that bunt perfectly down the third base line, and by the time the pitcher, Wiemers, was able to get off the mound and field it, Martins had done a good job of hustling down the line, and now we've got runners at first and second with nobody out as the Mustangs look to add to this two-run lead. Stepping in, third baseman Aaron Anderson, and he squares around the bunt, and he takes a ball on the outside corner, a throw down to second, but the runner is back, and it's 1-0.
Mustangs like to be aggressive on the base paths.
And they're going to try to move those runners into scoring position, not content with a two-run lead, and I don't blame them here early in the game. Anderson squares around a bunt again, and that one misses high and tight as he pulls the bat back. And it's now 2-0 to the third baseman. Anderson singled back in the second inning and came around to score the first run for the Mustangs. The runner at second, Frisbee, he singled on a flare to second base. Martins at first, he hit a bunt single trying to sacrifice the runner over. Nobody out here in the top of the third. Mustangs lead it 3-1. At the plate, Aaron Anderson, and he's swinging away and chops it foul towards the first base dugout. It's now 2-1 strike.
Colorado Plains Medical Center, transforming lives each day. Colorado Plains Medical Center is where people choose to go for health care.
Thank you, Braden.
Anytime, Chris.
Anderson steps in here with a 2-1 strike count. Weimer from the stretch. The runners take their leads. The infield corners draw in as they expect another bunt attempt, and sure enough, Anderson squares around, but he takes that one on the outside corner for a ball. I should say off the outside corner for a ball, and it's now 3-1 strike. I have to imagine that with a 3-1 strike count, runners on second, a 2-run lead, they might have Anderson swinging away here, but we'll wait and see. Wiemers gets the sign he wants. The runners take their leads from first and second. And here's the 3-1 pitch, and Anderson is swinging away, and that's lashed to center field, and that's going to get past the center fielder. Around third with the fourth run comes Frisbee. They're going to send the second runner around third, and into third, sliding headfirst and safe is Aaron Anderson with an RBI triple two-run score on the play as Cole Frisbee and James Martins both come around to score, and it is now 5-1 in favor of the Fort Morgan Mustangs.
Mustangs are taking a 5-1 lead over the Wizards.
Anderson swinging away on 3-1, got a pitch right down the middle, and he just rocketed that thing on the line to center field, and he just took off and was able to run all day. And now the Mustangs are treated to a nice 5-1 lead.
Stop by 302 Main Street in Fort Morgan for BGT Quest letter jackets, T-shirts, banners, and more. They're also your local experts in customizing your team's sports apparel.
Quick conference on the mound as the coach comes out to talk to his pitcher. Stepping in for the Mustangs is Nate Alexander, Nick Garver, the center fielder. 4-run lead here for the Mustangs, courtesy of a 2-run triple. And the first pitch to Garver is low for a ball. Garver walked back in the second inning and came around to score the second run for the Mustangs in that 3-run second inning. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Weimers. The runner takes off from third. It's a drag bunt, and they're going to score the run at first to score the run at home, get the out at first. A perfect suicide squeeze from the Mustangs, and you weren't kidding, Braden. These guys like to be aggressive on the base pads.
Coach Langford knew they were coming into a very good Windsor ball club. He knew he had his hands full today, and got a little bit of tricks coming out of the sleeve early on in this game, and going to force Windsor to play to Morgan's efforts right now.
That'll bring in Nate Alexander, the right fielder, and the first pitch misses for a ball. Score that a sacrifice 5-3 and an RBI. The next pitch to Alexander misses off the outside corner, and it's now 2 balls and no strikes. Just one away here in the top of the third inning as the Mustangs bat, and that is popped up right behind the first base bag. The ball is dropped, and he throws to second, and it gets away, gets past the second baseman and down the left field line. And now the runner is safe at second. Rule it a base hit and an error on the first baseman as he was unable to track down that pop fly behind the bag and then threw wild the second. And now there's a runner at second with one down here.
A little bit of panic factor there. You know that fly ball should be a routine fly ball. Miscommunication, and then the ball hits the ground, and then it becomes panic mode.
Once again, we see a pop fly that just sort of hangs up in the air, and DJ Knott, the highly touted first baseman, seemed to lose it there, and now they've got a runner at second. As the first pitch to Hernandez, the second baseman, is a called strike. Now Nate Alexander standing at second base, courtesy of that base hit and that error. And Hernandez will step in with an 0-1 count, and that's swung on and missed, and it's now 0-2.
Looked like a little bit of an off-speed pitch down and away. Had Yuli Hernandez chasing.
Hernandez struck out in his first at-bat, chasing that out-speed pitch on the outside corner. That seems to be his weak spot today. Hernandez choking up on the bat. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Good job to lay off that pitch down and away, and it's now 1-2. That's the same pitch he struck out on back in that second inning, and he did a good job of holding off this time around. Ulysses Hernandez with a 1-2 count, choking up on the bat. And here's the pitch. And that one gets away from the catcher in the dirt, and that's going to move the runner Alexander to third as there's no throw. Score that a wild pitch. It's now 2-2 to the second baseman, Ulysses Hernandez, and a runner at third. They're going to bring the infield in here, the Windsor Wizards are, with a trailing by a score of 6-1 here in the third inning. They're going to attempt to prevent any more runs from scoring. One down right now, and time is called as the coach gets a double check on the number of outs.
You expect suicide squeeze here?
I don't know if they try it twice in the same inning. David Mendez, the leadoff hitter, stands in, and he takes the first pitch in the dirt for a ball. It's 1-0. I don't think you'll see Hernandez still at the plate, and it's 3-2. I don't think you'll see a squeeze here, especially with a full count. That one's hit well to center field. The center fielder camping under it. He makes the catch. The runner's going to tag from third. Here's the throw. And there's no throw to home as it's cut off by the pitcher, by the first baseman, and the run does score. Sacrifice fly for Hernandez. And it is now 7-1 in favor of the Mustangs. Good job by Hernandez to get the ball in the air with the Wizards, pulling the infield in. They're expecting him to put the ball on the ground, try to keep that runner from scoring. And Hernandez, who struck out in his first at-bat, did a good job of getting the ball in the air. Here's the first pitch to the leadoff hitter, Mendez, and that's a called strike one. Cole Frisbee led off the inning with a base hit. James Martins reached on a bunt single as the 0-1 pitch misses way outside. A nice sliding stop by the catcher, and it's 1-1. Martins reached on a bunt single. Aaron Anderson drove them both home on a triple as the 1-1 pitch is delivered by Weimers and swung on a miss in the dirt. Helping him out there was David Mendez, and it's 1-2 strikes. Anderson would come around to score on a beautifully placed sacrifice suicide squeeze. Then Nate Alexander reached on a base hit and an error by the first baseman. He would come around to score. And there's a called strike three in the upper part of the zone as Mendez is called out on strikes for out number 3. 4 hits, 4 runs, and a runner left on. We move to the bottom of the third. The Mustangs lead by a score of 7-1 on B106 and B106.com. We head to the bottom of the third here at Windsor High School. The Fort Morgan Mustangs leading by a score of 7-1, courtesy of a 4-run top of the third inning as the pitcher Tanner Weimer steps in against Matt Godo, and the first pitch is swung on a miss for a strike, and it's no balls, 1 strike, Tanner Weimers. The Mustangs doing a good job of getting to Tanner Weimers here early in the game as they lead 7-1. Matt Godo doing a good job. Gave up a run to lead off the game, but he's done a good job to come back here. And the second pitch, a good off-speed pitch on the outside corner for a swinging strike number 2. Lance Cox led off the game with a single. He came around to score, and that's been it. And there's a call, strike 3. Weimer's fooled on that breaking pitch on the inside. That pitch just started at his hip and broke across the inside corner of the plate. A gorgeous pitch from Matt Godo for the first out. And now the highly touted first baseman, DJ Knott, with a good swing as he lifts one to right field. In comes the right fielder, and he misjudges it, and it bounces off his glove. And that's going to be an error on the right fielder for the Mustangs, Nate Alexander.
That seems the right side of the field has been trouble for both sides today.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's the wind or if it's where the sun is coming from, but it seems like you're right. That right side of the field, whether it's the infield or the outfield, they've struggled to pick up those balls in the air. Here's the first pitch as it's fouled straight back by Mitchell Winter, the left fielder, and it's no balls and 1 strike. Yeah, we've seen several misplayed balls, some errors on the right side of the infield and the outfield, and I don't know, the wind obviously swirling off and on today. I don't know if that's part of it or the sun, but some sloppy plays there on the right side of the field so far today. The second pitch to Mitchell Winter is a called ball on the outside corner. Winter singled back in the first, yes. Oh, and that one gets away from the catcher, and Knott's going to move up. That was a breaking ball that actually ended up behind Winter, and it got away from the catcher, ruled out a pass ball, and Knott will move up to second base. Godo trying to throw that inside breaking ball off the hip again, and unfortunately it didn't break like it was supposed to, and it actually ended up behind Mitchell Winter and going to the backstop. Here's the 2-1 pitch from Godo. That one misses low and in the dirt, and it's now 3-1.
Insurance Connection. Whether it's health, life, or dental insurance or Medicare supplements, see Sharon Kaufman at Insurance Connection today.
The 3-1 pitch, a call strike at the knees, and it's now full count to Winter, the left fielder for the Windsor Wizards. The runner at second, Knott, he reached on an error by the right fielder and then moved up to second on the passed ball. And here's the full count pitch, and it's swung on and missed some high gas again from Godo. That's been his go-to pitch today when he needs a strikeout, just blowing it by him high in the zone. And those Wizard batters can't seem to lay off.
Godo's a good high-velocity pitcher, mid-80s, low 80s consistently.
Duncan Goodrich, the third baseman, steps in, and he watches a called strike one. It's 0-1. Godo, as usual, working quickly. He pitches from the stretch with a runner at second. Here's the 0-1, and that one misses off the outside corner for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike here to Duncan Goodrich, who struck out back in the first inning. Godo from the stretch, almost facing the shortstop, almost has his back all the way to the batter when he comes set, and he misses in the dirt. It's now 2-1. Mustangs lead 7-1 here in the bottom of the third inning. Here's the pitch, and that one is flared to second. It's going to die in the outfield grass. Nice scoop by the second baseman, and he gets the out at first. And just like that, the inning is over. 1 Mustang error, no runs, and a runner left on. We head to the top of the fourth. It's 7-1 the score in favor of the Mustangs on B106 and B106.com. We head to the top of the fourth here at Windsor Field. The Windsor Wizards trail 7-1 to the Fort Morgan Mustangs. Bull Brom alongside Braden Snyder as Tanner Weimers takes the mound for his 4th inning of work. Matt Godo will step in. He reached on an error in the second, grounded out in the first. And the first pitch from Weimers is lined to left field, a solid base hit for Godo. And he'll be on to start off the top of the 4th inning. That ball was hit with some authority. One thing the Mustangs have done well today is get the leadoff hitter on and capitalize with that. And that's part of the reason they lead 7-1 here in the 4th inning. Godo on, and that'll bring up Mike Fitzsimmons, the shortstop. And the first pitch is in the dirt. Good block by the catcher. And it's 1 ball back there. The catcher, Greg Medina, has been busy indeed. He's blocked several balls in the dirt. And it's 1 ball, no strikes to Fitzsimmons. And here's the pitch, and he swings and misses. On that same pitch, a breaking ball down in the zone, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Got to give Weimers credit. He stuck to his game plan, and that was to attack these Mustang hitters with the breaking balls down in the zone, and that's what he's done. Here's the 1-1 pitch. The runner takes off, and it's a swing and a miss, and no throw to second as the runner Godo is then safe with a stolen base. I wasn't sure if they were going to call that a foul ball as the ball bounced up in the dirt. But apparently it was a swing and a miss, and the runner has advanced to second. And it's 1-2 to Fitzsimmons. Weimers from the stretch, the tall right-hander, and that is lifted to center field. Center fielder shielding his eyes from the sun, and he makes the catch for the first out. 1 away here in the top of the 4th. I think the sun is a factor out there in the outfield because every time we've seen a fly ball, each one of the outfielders is shielding his eyes with his glove, trying to keep on track of that ball. And I think that's why we've seen some misplayed balls in the outfield so far. Stepping in, the big left-handed hitting first baseman, Cole Frisbee. He singled and came around to score last inning. The runner at second, Godo, with 1 down here in the top of the 4th. First pitch from Weimers is in the dirt for a ball. Seems like we've been saying that a lot today. That pitch in the dirt.
Outside and in the dirt.
Weimers, to give him credit, he's done a good job of keeping the ball down in the zone, but when he's let that ball get up, the Mustang hitters have done a good job of making him pay. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swung on and missed by Cole Frisbee. Good off-speed pitch. That's where you want that pitch to be. Just far enough down out of the zone to make you want to swing, but not so far out of the zone that it's obvious that it's going to be a ball. I think that's the pitch Weimer's been shooting for all game long. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and another ball in the dirt. Another good block by Greg Medina, the catcher for Windsor. 2 balls, 1 strike to Cole Frisbee. Like you said, Frisbee singled and came around to score in that 4-run third inning. Struck out back in the first inning in his first at-bat. The runner from second takes his lead, and there's a turn and throw. He dives back in there safe. Weimer's a tall, lanky right-hander who relies heavily on his breaking ball. And unfortunately, he hasn't been able to locate it down in the zone, and that's led to some pitches up and a 7-1 Mustang lead. There's a ball up in the zone, too far up in the zone, as the count moves to 3-1 on Cole Frisbee. The wind picking up once again here in Windsor. The runner, Matt Goto, takes his lead from second. Here's the 3-1 pitch from Weimer's, and that's in the dirt for a ball. And that's going to move runners to first and second with one out here.
First and second, one out.
That pitch was in the dirt, but not enough in the dirt that Medina had to block it. So I'm sure he's happy about that.
I'm sure. He
looks more like a hockey goalie today than a catcher.
Doing a good job of it, too.
He's doing a very good job. The DH today, James Martin, steps in. He's singled and scored a run in that 4-run third inning, and he's going to take a ball just out of the zone for a 1-ball, no-strike count. Tanner Weimer's comes set. Here's the pitch, and that breaking ball is high, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. When you're a pitcher who relies heavily on your off-speed stuff, it helps if you can locate your off-speed stuff, and unfortunately for Tanner Weimer's, he hasn't been able to do that too well today. As he comes with the 2-0 pitch, and once again it misses down and away, and it's 3-0. To James Martins, the DH today for Fort Morgan. Martins struck out back in the second inning, singled and scored in the third, and he's got a 3-0 count here. And that one's low and away, and it's a 4-pitch walk to load the bases for Aaron Anderson, the third baseman.
Now, if you're Windsor's coach, how long before you bring out to have another conference on the mound?
Well, speaking, you shall receive. The coach coming out to the mound to meet with his pitcher.
This being the second meeting, I'm guessing that would do it.
And it looks like we're going to make a pitching change.
Pitcher hasn't given the coach the ball yet. Talking it over.
The infield and the coach gathered on the mound here, the Fort Morgan Mustangs, and yes, they are going to make a pitching change. We'll take a break with them. We'll be back with the pitching change. The Mustangs leading 7-1 here in the top of the fourth from Windsor on B106 and B106.com. Pitching change for the Windsor Wizards here as the Mustangs lead 7-1 in the top of the fourth inning. On the mound now for Windsor, the left-hander, number 11, Garrett Hammond. Moving to third base is the former pitcher, Tanner Weimer's, taking the place of Duncan Goodrich. Garrett Hammond, not nearly as tall as his predecessor, and a left-handed pitcher will take the mound here, and stepping up to the plate, left-handed hitter, Aaron Anderson.
Bases loaded.
Bases loaded for the Mustangs here with one out, a single, a walk, and another walk. And the first pitch from Hammond is outside. The runner from third broke for a home. Looked like they might try another suicide squeeze, but instead he decided to hold up, and it's now 1-0 to Aaron Anderson. Hammond comes set from the stretch, kicks and fires, and that's a called strike on the inside corner of the plate.
Equitable Savings and Loan, Northeast Colorado's hometown savings and loan in Fort Morgan and Brush.
Hammond from the belt, the 1-1 pitch. A good breaking ball for a called strike, too. That was a slow lollipop of a curveball and fell right into the bottom of the zone. Good pitch from Garrett Hammond, and he's ahead of Aaron Anderson with the bases loaded and one away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hammond from the stretch. The 1-2 pitch to Anderson is swung on and missed. The pitch in the dirt. And that's a good job of coming in and getting the strikeout with the bases loaded, and they're now 2 away.
Mustangs don't want to leave the bases loaded here. They've got a lot of scoring opportunities. I know Coach Langford's pushing for a base hit from Nick Garver. Nothing big, just a little single.
Just put the ball in play. Base hit, scores 1 easily, possibly 2. Here's the first pitch, and that's high and away for a ball to Nick Garver, the center fielder today. Garver walked and scored back in the second, and then laid down that beautiful suicide squeeze in the third. Evan steps off the back of the mound, signals for his catcher to come out and chat for a second. Bases are loaded 2 down here as Nick Garver steps in, and the Mustangs leading 7-1 in the top of the 4th.
Mustangs are going to have to adjust a little bit. This pitcher does not have near the velocity as Weimer did.
Weimer goes 3 1/3 innings. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and that misses down and away, and it's 2-0. 3 1/3 innings for Weimers. He gives us 7 runs on 10 hits, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. The bases are loaded here with 2 down, top of the 4th inning. Mustangs leading 7-1. The 2-0 pitch to Garver, right down the middle for a called strike. It's now 2-1. I think it appeared Garver was just taking all the way.
I looked down the line, and that's the sign I got from Coach Langford.
Hammond comes set, and that one is golfed to center field. The center fielder's drifting over, gets underneath, makes the catch, and Hammond does a good job of getting out of the bases loaded jam. A hit, 2 walks, and the bases left loaded. No runs scored. We move to the bottom of the 4th inning. The Mustangs leading 7-1 on B106 and B106.com. 7-1, the Mustangs lead as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning in Windsor, Colorado. The Windsor Wizards coming to bat, and the first hitter up for Windsor is the catcher, Greg Medina. He was hit by a pitch back in the 2nd inning, left at second base, and the first pitch from Godo is slashed foul, and out of play down the left field line. No balls and 1 strike. Medina taking one off the tailbone in his first at-bat. As he steps in against the right-hander Godo, here's the 0-1 pitch. That one misses just a little inside, and it's now 1-1. Godo again working quickly. The stout right-hander with the windup and the 1-1 pitch. Right down the middle. Call strike 2. It's now 1-2 to Greg Medina. Like I said, 7-1, the Mustangs lead here in the bottom of the 4th inning, or the 10th inning. Oh, no, they changed it on the scoreboard. Ooh, and that one just about took Medina's head off, and he kind of offers a little stare down to the pitcher Godo. Medina doing a good job of keeping himself out of harm's way. It's now 2-2, and Godo with a big, slow breaking ball over the plate for a call, strike 3. I have to think that previous pitch over the head was a nice setup for that breaking ball over the middle of the plate.
Definitely back him off and set him up to make him take his own seat on the bench.
Godo's first pitch to right fielder Quentin Moot is filed straight back to the screen. It's 0-1. Godo doing a good job of getting ahead of these hitters, working quickly. He winds up. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Moot. This is high. It's 1-1. Godo not afraid to come after these hitters. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That one is swung on and hit well to center field. Back goes the center fielder, and it's over his head, and it's up against the wall. Moot rounding first inning to second. He's going to take a big turn at second and decide to shut it down with a double. A 1-out double for Quentin Moot, the right fielder.
Well, almost looked like he didn't even want to swing at that pitch.
It almost was an emergency hack, but he was able to get it on the sweet spot of the barrel and lift it over the center fielder's head, and he cruises in with a one-out double here, and up steps Luke Pape, the center fielder. Luke Pape, the center fielder. Godo. First pitch misses down in the dirt for a ball. Pape struck out back in the second inning, and that pitch is on the inside corner for a called strike.
There's that breaking ball again, starts at the hip and drops right in.
Godo doing a good job of keeping these hitters off balance, especially with that inside breaking ball. Godo from the stretch, kicks and fires. That one misses low. It's now 2-1 to Luke Pape. The runner at second, Quentin Moot. He doubled. Luke Pape, the hitter. And here's the 2-1 pitch, and that's foul back to the screen, and it's now 2-2.
CTO Charlie's for a great used car truck today. If you don't see what you want on the lot, they will find it for you at 700 West Platte Avenue in Fort Morgan.
Bull Brom, Braden Snyder from Windsor, Colorado, on a sunny, breezy Thursday afternoon. The 2-2 pitch is popped foul, and out of play over the third base side, and the count holds steady at 2-2. I tell you what, outside of the occasional wind gust, it's turned into a gorgeous afternoon for baseball.
Most definitely.
A great crowd here at Windsor as the Fort Morgan Mustangs lead by a score of 7-1. The 2-2 pitch is swung on and tipped foul at the plate. Pape doing a good job of staying alive. It's still 2-2. Just able to get a piece of that one. Godo from the stretch is back almost to the hitter. And there it is again, the slow breaking ball right over the middle of the plate for a called strike 3. And there's now 2 down here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Boy, I tell you what, the Windsor hitters have not been able to pick up that breaking ball. There's a good fastball from Godo to Patrick Fisher, the second baseman, and he fouls it back to the screen, and it's 0-1. Godo from the stretch, and another pitch foul back to the screen, and it's 0-2 to Patrick Fisher. Fisher reached on a walk his first time up. 7-1 the score here in the bottom of the fourth with 2 away. A runner at second. That runner is Quentin Moot. He doubled with 1 out. Luke Pape just struck out, and it's an 0-2 count. And another pitch fouled back to the screen by Patrick Fisher, and the count holds steady at 0-2.
And the second Windsor Wizard to come to the plate with a wooden bat.
And we've seen a couple of those. Obviously, a mixture of wooden and metal bats here this afternoon. We've seen a mixture of results from those different bats. Godo thought he had called strike 3, but it's not. It misses inside. Once again, throwing that hip side breaking ball. Thought he had an inside strike, but the umpire says no go, and it's 1-2. I'll be interested to see if he goes back to it again. Godo comes set from the belt. Here's the 1-2, and the fastball is fouled back over the backstop, over the crowd, and back up against the school building. And it's now 2-2 to Patrick Fisher. Excuse me. Yes, 2-2. Here's the pitch, and that inside breaking ball misses high, and it's now 3-2. Excuse me, 2-2. And that one misses inside, and now it's 3-2. Godo's still trying to get that inside strike with the breaking ball. It's worked well for him all game long. Unfortunately, he hasn't been able to find it against the hitter, Patrick Fisher. And that ball misses down and away, gets away from the catcher for a second, but he's able to get it. And Fisher takes the walk, and there's now runners at second with 2 away in the bottom of the fourth. We go back to the top of the order now. Shortstop Lance Cox. He scored the Wizards' first and only run back in the first inning. He singled and came around to score later in the inning, and that's been it for the Windsor Wizards so far as he steps in against Godo. Here's the pitch, and there's that breaking ball. Called strike on the inside corner. Here's what I like about Godo. He is not afraid to go to that off-speed pitch early in the count, or to go to that pitch 3, 4, 5 times in a row. That pitch misses down in the dirt. It's 1-1. That's his go-to pitch, and he's not afraid to back it up.
Earlier on in the game, we saw that high fastball quite a few times, and now he's switched to that breaking ball, and it's done him wonders.
Godo with the 1-1 to Lance Cox, and there it is again, that breaking ball on the inside corner for a called strike 2.
Both of those pitches have been breaking balls over the inside part of the plate.
And the Wizards hitters just sit there and watch it, because there's not much you can do with it even if you do swing. Godo tries to get in with the high cheese, but it's too high, and it's 2-2.
Oh, as a hitter, you almost have to golf that one off the handle.
Like I said, it starts on your inside hip, but throw over the first, the ball gets away, and the runners are going to advance to second and third with 2 down on the throwing error by Matt Godo.
That's the runners for the Wizards. Move at third, and Fisher at second.
Patrick Fisher, the runner at second, he walked. Quentin Moot with a double. He's at third. Both runners moving up on the throwing error. And with runners at second and third, Godo goes to the windup, and that pitch is lined back up the middle for a base hit. 1 run will come around to score. The ball gets past the center fielder. The second run comes in to score, and the hitter slides safe into second with an RBI double.
And the Wizards score 2 more before it was in 7-3.
It's now 7-3 in favor of the Mustangs as Fisher and Moot both come around to score.
And now up for the Wizards. The 2 out, center on second. Number 7, Tanner Weavers.
There's the first pitch to Tanner Weavers, and it's fouled back and out of play, and it's no balls and 1 strike. Called out a base hit and an error on the center fielder, as he lost the ball on the grass and allowed the runner Lance Cox to get into second. It's now 7-3 for Morgan Mustangs lead in the bottom of the second with 2 out, the bottom of the fourth with 2 out, as that pitch misses low for a ball. It's 1-1 to Tanner Weimers. Weimers now playing third base for the Wizards. He started the game as the pitcher, went 3 1/3 innings, giving up all 7 runs. That ball misses in the dirt. A good block by the catcher, Flug. And it's now 2 balls and 1 strike.
Godo needs to regroup here. He's getting a little wild there. It seems after that no-call third strike, we thought was going to be a called strike 3. Mustangs kind of falling apart.
That pitch misses inside as Weimers has to turn his shoulder to avoid getting hit, and it's now 3-1. Well, I think it was a domino effect. The non-called strike 3 is here's the 3-1 pitch, and now it's chopped to third. 2 big bounces for the third baseman, a long throw to first, good stretch by the first baseman, Frisbee, and they get the out. A hit, a walk, 2 hits, a walk, an error, and 2 runs scored. We move on to the top of the 5th inning. The Fort Morgan Mustangs leading by a score of 7-3 on B106 and B106.com. We head to the top of the 5th inning here in Windsor as the Fort Morgan Mustangs lead the Windsor Wizards by a score of 7-3 on B106 and B106.com. Chris Bullbraum alongside Braden Snyder as Nate Alexander, the right fielder for Fort Morgan, steps in. Alexander 2 for 2 today. He scored 2 runs. And the first pitch from Garrett Hammond, who's in for his second inning of work, is fouled back to the screen, and it's 0-1. Hammond came in last inning in relief of Tanner Weimers. Weimers moved over to third to replace Duncan Goodrich. Hammond, the left-hander, was able to get out of a bases-loaded 1-out jam in the last inning, and here's his second pitch, and that one's way high and outside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Nate Alexander. Hammond came in with the bases loaded, 1 out, was able to get a strikeout. And pitch misses low, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. He was able to get a strikeout and a flyout to end the threat, and limits the and hold the Fort Morgan Mustangs scoreless. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and that one's way inside as Alexander has to get skinny in order to avoid getting hit. It's now 3-1.
Visit Platte Valley Hearing Center at their new location at 409 East Platte Avenue in Fort Morgan. They are still getting your hearing to its very best.
Hammond with the 3-1 pitch, and that's bounced back up the middle, fielded by the second baseman. Throw on to first for the outs.
Fisher did not for the first out.
Fisher to not on an easy ground ball, and it's now one away here in the top of the fifth inning. And Ulysses Hernandez, the second baseman.
Number 4, Ulysses Hernandez.
That was really the first cleanly ground ball we've seen.
It was a nice, easy bouncer, fielded well by the second baseman. As the first pitch to Hernandez misses low, 1 ball, no strike. Hammond's second pitch is fouled back over the screen and out of play. It's 1-1. Hernandez with a sacrifice fly back in the third inning to score the 7th run for the Mustangs. 1 away here in the top of the fifth. Mustangs leading 7-3, and that pitch misses just outside. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. Hammond a little bit more deliberate than his predecessor, Weimers, as he winds up and delivers the 2-1 pitch. That misses low and inside, and it's 3-1. Hammond's got the sign he wants, winds up, kicks and fires, and that 3-1 pitch is grounded foul down the third base line, and the count is full at 3-2. Braden, you mentioned the cleanly fielded ground ball. We've seen 6 errors combined between the two teams, 4 for the Mustangs, 2 for the Windsor Wizards. So there's been some trouble out there in the field. Here's the 3-2 pitch, and that one is popped up. The pitcher looking for it, and he's going to be called off by the shortstop. And Lance Cox makes the catch. And that's 2 away for the Mustangs here in the top of the fifth inning. Hammond wanted to field the ball. He was looking for it, but unfortunately it's kind of difficult when you've got to maneuver around the mound on a pop-up like that. Back to the top of the order as David Mendez steps in and he watches the ball. It's 1-0 to the left fielder for the Mustangs. Mendez grounded out in the first, singled in the second, struck out in the third. And that's a called strike. It's now 1-1. Hammond's done a good job coming in relief and limiting the damage as he delivers a 1-1 pitch down in the zone, and it's now 2-1.
Really took the momentum right out of the Mustangs. They had the bases loaded. He comes out, pitches out of a jam.
Yeah, bases loaded with 1 out. He gets the strikeout and the fly out to end the threat. That pitch misses up and in, and it's now 3-1. One thing I am noticing with Hammond, he's had a lot of deep counts here. He's gone to 3 balls on all 3 hitters thus far, but he's been able to limit the damage, getting the easy grounder to second, the pop fly to short. And now he delivers the 3-1 pitch to David Mendez. And that's swung on and missed, and the count is now full at 3-2. Mendez possibly helping him out as that pitch looked to be up in the zone. Hammond with the windup, and the full count pitch is lifted to left field, and that will be a fair ball. Mendez around first. He will head into second, take a wide turn, and shut it down there. A good 2-base hit by Mendez with 2 down here in the fifth inning. Just sort of golfed that one down the left field line, and he cruises in with a double, and that'll bring up the pitcher, Matt Godo. Godo singled in his last time up, reached on an error in the second, and grounded out in the first. He's 1 for 3 this afternoon. The runner at second takes his lead with 2 down. Here's the first pitch, and that's a called strike to the knees, and it's 1-0. Mendez with a 2-out double. He's at second. Matt Godo, the pitcher, at the plate. The left-hander Hammond with the pitch. That one misses high and outside. It's 1-1.
Acme Building Center, your one-stop center for projects around your home, office, or yard. Acme Building Center, located at 1402 Mill Street in Brush.
Hammond with the pitch, and that's swung on a miss. It is now 1-2. Good off-speed pitch by Godo. He was out on his front foot. Hammond's done a very good job since coming in back in the top of the fourth inning, as he's got a 1-ball, 2-strike count to the pitcher Godo. He kicks and fires, and that one just high as it moves to 2-2. Once again, the wind picking up a little bit here in Windsor as we play the top of the fifth inning with 2 down and a runner at second base. The Mustangs leading by a score of 7-3. And the pitcher Matt Godo at the plate. 2-2 the count. Left-hander Hammond kicks and fires. And that ball misses in the dirt, and it's 3-2.
Another deep pitch count, Chris.
Yep. He's gone to 3 balls on all 4 hitters he's faced, and he's gone full on 3 of the 4 hitters. As there's 2 down here in the fifth, the 3-2 pitch on the way from Hammond. And that one misses outside, and that's a good job by Matt Godo to work the count deep and take the walk. And now we've got runners at first and second with 2 down here. And it looks like we're going to get a courtesy runner for Godo at first, and that is number 19, Sergio Bakura. Up at the plate, Mike Fitzsimmons, as he steps in against the left-hander Hammond. Here's the first pitch. Misses inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Fitzsimmons singled back in the first. He grounded out in the second and flew out to center field back in the fourth inning, and he stands in with a 1-0 count and runners on first and second, 2 down here in the fifth. That pitch misses low, and it's 2-0. Mustangs doing a good job here. This looked like it'd be a quick inning with a quick ground out and a pop fly, but they've been able to pull out a double and a walk, and they now have 2 runners on with 2 outs here in the fifth inning. Hammond chops one on the ground, a big hop to short. He'll take it himself to second for the force out, and that will take care of the Morgan Mustangs here in the top of the fifth. But the Mustangs lead by a score of 7-3 as we head to the bottom of the fifth on B106 and B106.com. Bottom of the fifth here from Windsor as the Fort Morgan Mustangs lead the Windsor Wizards by a score of 7-3. Matt Godo missing with his first pitch, a breaking ball behind the hitter, DJ Knott, for a ball, and he gets a called strike 2 at the knees, and it's now 1-1. Swing and a ground ball to the shortstop, easy fielding, and he throws on to first for the out. That's how you want to start off the fifth inning against a hitter like DJ Knott. Nice ground ball. Easy pickup by the shortstop and on to first for the out. There's 1 down here in the bottom of the fifth. And stepping in is Mitchell Winter, the left fielder. Godo kicks and fires. There's the breaking ball. Touches the upper part of the zone on the inside corner for a strike, and it's 0-1. Godo once again going back to that breaking ball early in the count. He winds up, kicks and fires, and that one misses high. It's 1-1.
That pitch had some weird spin on it.
I think that would be what we call a breaking ball that didn't break. A 1-1 pitch. That fastball misses high, and it's 2-1. Here comes Godo's 2-1 pitch, and that fastball is swung on a miss. It's now 2-2. Another hard fastball up in the zone, and the Windsor hitter unable to catch up. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Just misses upstairs, and it's 3-2. Mitch Winter struck out back in the third inning and reached, as that one is popped foul, and the count remains full at 3-2. 3-2 pitch, and that's up and in, and that's going to be a walk. Let's put a runner on first with one out here in the bottom of the fifth.
Runner on first base, up for the Wizards, pitcher, number 11, Garrett Hammond.
Garrett Hammond, the pitcher, steps in as he faces Matt Godo here with a runner on first and one away, and the first pitch misses down and out of the zone for a ball. It's 1-0.
The most important thing to buying a new building or starting a new design-build project is picking the right company to build it. Call Pat Walter, Travis Lefevre, or Jared Samples for your free bid, 970-842-5837, buildingsbydesign.com.
The throw over to first to keep the runner close, and here's the 1-0 pitch. That catches the inside corner, and it's now 1-1 to the pitcher, Garrett Hammond. The left-handed pitcher, right-handed hitter, taking on the right-handed pitching Matt Godo, who's looked strong today, giving up 3 runs. The runner takes off. There's a bunt attempt, and it's bunted foul. It's now 1 ball and 2 strikes, and the runner will have to return back to first. Windsor obviously trying to do something, get runners in scoring position, down 4 runs here in the 5th inning. It's 7-3 in favor of the Mustangs. Godo turns and throws to first. The runner dives back safely. Both teams trying to be aggressive today on the base paths. We've seen a sacrifice squeeze as that pitch misses up and out of the zone. It's 2-2 to Garrett Hammond. We saw a suicide squeeze earlier in the game by the Mustangs. We've seen some stolen bases, some good running on the base paths. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and that's swung on and missed. And there's now 2 down.
Strike out for the second out of the inning. 2 outs, runner on first base, up for the Wizards.
Also 2 down, runner at first base. Greg Medina, the catcher, steps in. He was hit by a pitch and then struck out in his second at bat. And he takes the first pitch down low. A throw down by the catcher to first, but the runner gets back in safely. Not only has Fort Morgan been aggressive on the base paths, they've been aggressive about keeping Windsor in check on the base paths. That's swung on a missed. Now 1 ball, 1 strike to the catcher, Greg Medina. Runner first, Mitch Winter, the left fielder, he walked. 2 down here in the bottom of the 5th. Mustangs up 7-4. That pitch way outside, and it's 2-1 to Greg Medina. Right-hander against right-hander. Godo gets the call he wants. He's coming from the stretch, and that pitch misses in the dirt, and it's 3-1. Trying to get him to go fishing with that breaking ball. Unfortunately, it never really threatened the zone, and Medina doing a good job to lay off. Godo with a 3-1 pitch. That's swung on and missed, and now the count is full at 3-2. Godo, after going to a couple of off-speed pitches out of the zone, comes back with the fastball right down the middle, and Medina unable to catch up. Now the count is full with 2 down. The runner at first should be taking off with the pitch. Godo from the stretch. There's the pitch, and that's fouled back over the screen and out of play. Count holds steady at 3-2.
Central Auto Parts for all of your auto supply needs. Stop by Central Auto Parts at West Platte Avenue in Fort Morgan.
Full count as Godo comes stretch. The runner takes off with the pitch, and that is fouled over the first base dugout and out of play, and the count will stay at 3-2. Give Greg Medina credit here. He's done a good job of fighting off some tough 2-strike pitches, and he's running up the pitch count here in the 5th inning. 2 down, a runner at first, and here's the full count pitch, and that is fouled back and out of play over the first base dugout. Count still at 3-2. The runner at first, Mitch Winter, going to be tired by the time this inning's over. He keeps taking off with every 3-2 pitch. There he goes again. That one is chopped foul down the third base line, and we'll line it up again. Still 3-2 to Greg Medina.
You know the runner's going to go through Matt Godo on this next. Do you try a pickoff move?
You could. I think Godo more interested in getting me out here with 2 down. Time called at the plate. 3-2 the count. 2 down here in the bottom of the 5th. Mitch Winter, the runner at first, he walked. Greg Medina, the catcher, and here's the pitch, and that is high and inside, and there's another walk.
Medina dropped the walk.
That's a great at-bat by Greg Medina as he was able to foul off a bunch of 2-strike pitches and work the walk, and now we've got runners at first and second with 2 down here in the 5th. Quentin Moot, the right fielder, steps in. And it looks like we're going to get a courtesy runner at first for Medina, and that's Reichardt Takunaga, the runner at first.
Running for Medina.
Here's the first pitch, and that's high and tight. 1 ball, no strikes to Quentin Moot. Godo perhaps struggling here in the later part of the game. As that breaking ball misses just inside. And it's now 2-0. 2 on, 2 out here in the bottom of the 5th. 2 walks for Matt Godo. Here's the 2-0 pitch, and that's a called strike. In the bottom part of the zone, it's now 2-1. A 1-out walk to Mitch Winter, and then a 2-out walk to Greg Medina. We find ourselves with 2 on here. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Moot. That's chopped to short. Oh, excuse me, popped to short. That looked like a chop because he golfed at it like he was playing in some sort of Pro-Am Classic, but that's going to be caught by the shortstop for the 3rd out. We head to the top of the 6th inning. No runs, no hits, 2 left on as we move to the top of the 6th on B106 and B106.com. We head to the top of the 6th inning with the Fort Morgan Mustangs leading by a score of 7-3 here in Windsor. And stepping up for the Mustangs, Cole Frisbee, the first baseman. The first pitch from the left-hander, Garrett Hammond, is way outside for a ball.
First baseman, number 25, Cole Frisbee.
1 ball, no strikes to Cole Frisbee, the left-handed hitting first baseman against the left-handed pitching Garrett Hammond. Cole Frisbee has walked and singled, scored a run. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That misses off the outside corner, and it's 2-0. Struck out in his first at-bat, singled and scored in his second at-bat, walked in his third at-bat. He's now got a 2-0 count here in the top of the 6th inning. And the pitch on the outside corner for a strike. It's now 2-1. Seven to 3 to score. The Mustangs lead here in the top of the 6th inning. Garrett Hammond, the pitcher on the mound for the Wizards, and here's the 2-1 delivery, and that's swung on a miss. Good fastball from Hammond. And it's now 2 balls and 2 strikes. That was a sneaky fastball. It didn't look like he threw it that hard, but all of a sudden. And that ball is lined to left field, over the head of left fielder. Frisbee will come around first. He's digging for second. The big man will slide. No, he's going to be in standing with a double. A leadoff double for Cole Frisbee to start the 6th inning.
Runner on second base. Now for the Mustangs, number 7, James Martin.
The DH today, James Martin, comes to the mound. Looks like we're going to get a courtesy runner at second, and that's number 19, Sergio Bacura. Frisbee doing a good job to get on that ball, line it into left field over the left fielder's head. We've got a leadoff double for the Mustangs here in the 6th inning as they look to add to their 4-run advantage. Wizards will bring in their corner infielders as they're looking for a bunt. Hammond comes set on the mound. He's in the stretch as he faces James Martin, the DH for Fort Morgan today. And here's the first pitch, and that one is swinging lined foul down the first base line. Just missed a base hit. No balls, 1 strikes to Martins.
Good idea by Martins to go short side.
Like I said, the Windsor Wizards bringing in their corner infielders looking for the bunt. Martin's doing a good job of waiting back on that pitch and trying to line it down the other way. And he does square around a bunt, and he takes that one in the dirt, a throw down by the catcher. And just getting back in under the tag was the runner, Bakura. He got a little too far off at second. Snap throw down by Medina, and he's able to get in. If that throw wasn't as high as it was, I think he may have been caught at second. Nevertheless, it's 1 ball and 1 strike to James Martins. Martins is wagging that bat over his head. Hammond comes set from the stretch, from the belt, squares the bunt, and he lays one down, and that's going to go foul. It's now 1 ball and 2 strikes. James Martins, DHing today for the Mustangs.
Doing a good job of DHing today.
Yes, he's doing a very good job today. He struck out his first at-bat, but came back and singled in his second at-bat, came around to score, and then walked in his third at-bat back in the 4th inning. He's got a 1-2 count here with a runner at second. Wizards have their infielders in again at the corners looking for the bunt, even with 2 strikes. Martin's choking up on the bat, and he's going to be swinging away, and that ball is low and out of the zone. It's now 2-2. I'm a little surprised that the Windsor would leave their corner infielders this far in with 2 strikes. Martins with the 2-2 pitch, and he's able to chop that foul and stay it away, and now it stays in 2-2. Martins is doing a good job staying alive, choking up on the bat there to make sure he makes contact. The runner at second, Sergio Bakura, courtesy runner for Cole Frisbee, who led off the inning with a double. The left-hander, Hammond, from the stretch, kicks and fires, and that's swung on a miss. Good high fastball from Hammond, and he gets Martins on the strikeout. That's 1 down with the runner at second. Staying put. Aaron Anderson, the left-handing third baseman, steps in with 1 down here in the top of the 6th inning. Hammond from the stretch. Here's the first pitch. That misses off the outside corner for a ball. Anderson's had a good game today. Singled and scored in the 2nd, tripled and scored in the 3rd, and drove in 2 runs, and then he struck out back in the 4th. Here's the 1-0 delivery from Hammond. That one bounces in the dirt. Good block by Medina, the catcher. It's 2-0.
Premier Farm Credit, committed to serving those in production ag. Premier Farm Credit, the gold standard in ag lending.
2 balls, no strikes. The count to Aaron Anderson, the third baseman. Hammond from the belt. Here's the... Nope, he's going to step off. Taking a moment. Regrouping on the mound. Trying to figure out what pitch he wants to go out here. Gets a sign. Comes set. From the stretchers, the 2-0 pitch to Anderson. And that's popped back foul over our heads and out of play, and it's now 2-1. Mustangs leading by a score of 7-3 here in the top of the 6th inning. 1 down, runner at second. Cole Frisbee led off the inning with a 2-base hit. Courtesy runner Sergio Bakura is at second right now. A strikeout by James Martins, and Aaron Anderson at the plate with a 2-1 count. And here's the pitch, and that's on the outside corner for a strike. And it's now 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That was a good pitch by Hammond.
Very good pitch by Hammond. A nice fastball in the outside corner. Not much he could have done with it even if he had swung at it. Now it's 2-2. Hammond bends over at the waist, gets the sign, and comes set. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Anderson, and that one is fisted over the shortstop's head. It's going to be flared into left center field. They're going to hold the runner at first. Anderson taking a big turn but he'll stay there. They're going to hold a runner at third as well, and we've got runners at the corners with one out here in the top of the sixth, and coming up to hit the center fielder, Nick Garver. Again, not a necessarily hard-hit ball by a Mustang, but just finding some green out there where the defenders weren't. Nice job of looping that into left center field. Now we've got runners at the corners with one down. We're going to have a visit by the coach to the mound as he's going to chat with his left-hander and find out what they want to do. Mustangs leading by a score of 7-3 here in the top of the sixth, but they're threatening for more as they've got runners at the corners with just one down. Matt Godo pitching a strong ball game so far.
This team's back in action on Saturday as Windsor will travel to Fort Morgan. That game time starts at 12 o'clock.
In case you missed that, these two teams back in action on Saturday as Windsor will head to Fort Morgan. You can hear that game right here on B106 and B106.com. Hammond comes set as he faces Nick Garver, the center fielder, and that first pitch is swung on and missed. Good fastball from Hammond, and it's no balls. One strike. Garver walked and scored in the second, laid down a beautiful squeeze sacrifice in the third, and flew out in the fourth. There's a throw to first, gets past the first baseman. That's going to bring in the runner from third, and that's going to send the runner to second. They're going to try for third. He's coming around. He will slide in head first. Safe at third is the runner, Anderson.
Error by hand, and on the throw at first base.
That's an error by Hammond.
Anderson.
Bakura scores easily, and Anderson ends up all the way at third base. And it is now 8-4. The Mustangs leading Windsor. Hammond delivers, and that pitch misses high, and it's 1-1 to Garver. That's the second throwing error by a Windsor pitcher today. Runner at third. One down here. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Hammond. And that one is golfed up into the air to center field. The center fielder settling under it. They're going to tag the runner. And, in fact, he drops the ball. The run will score.
And scores on the flyout.
So they're going to rule that he caught the ball and then dropped it on the exchange. So it is a flyout and a sacrifice. The run does score.
2 outs, nobody on now.
And 2 down with the bases empty.
Fort Morgan now has a 9-3 lead over the Wizards. 2 up for the Mustangs. Right fielder, number 1, Nate Alexander.
Nate Alexander steps in, the right fielder. He's 2 for 3 today with a couple of runs scored, and the first pitch misses high. It's 1-0. That is I've lost count how many times, but multiple times today, outfielders bobbling balls out there on both sides. They did rule that an out and a sacrifice. That pitch is fouled back and over the screen. It's 1-1 to Nate Alexander.
I'm going to say we are in the neighborhood of 5 or 6 times we've seen that today.
It's been a little sloppy on the outfield today. Some missed plays on some pop flies, some bobbled exchanges. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's swung on and missed.
It's a good pitch by Hammond.
It's a good off-speed pitch down in the zone. It got Alexander out on his front foot. And he's now in the hole, 1-2. Hammond trying to minimize the damage here as the Mustangs lead 9-3. That pitch way upstairs, as Medina had to come up out of his crouch to keep that one from going back to the screen. 2 down, bases empty. Nate Alexander, the right fielder, at the plate. 2 runs in already. It's 9-3 in favor of the Mustangs in the top of the 6th inning. Hammond with the delivery, and that is flare to the second baseman who makes the catch for the third out.
Dennis to Fisher for the Wizards. That'll be the third out.
2 hits. An error, 2 runs scored.
2 hits. There was 1 in Windsor there.
We head to the bottom of the 6th inning. The Mustangs lead by a score of 9-3 on B106 and B106.com. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning. The Fort Morgan Mustangs leading by a score of 9-3 on B106 and B106.com. Chris Bolbrom alongside Braden Schneider on this Thursday afternoon, broadcasting from Windsor. And we have a pitching change for the Mustangs. Ulysses Hernandez will take the mound. Matt Godo goes 5 innings, giving up 3 runs. Hernandez moves to the mound from second. David Mendez moves from left to second. Matt Godo moving out to left field. And stepping up for the Windsor Wizards, Luke Pape, the center fielder. And the first pitch is a called strike. Hernandez, pitch in the dirt. It's 1-1. Pape has struck out twice today. And that pitch misses, and it's now 2-1.
Different windup by Ulysses. He's got kind of a 3/4 release.
He's got a 3/4 release. That's a called strike at the upper part of the zone. He's got almost a sidearm release, a very herky-jerky motion. And there is a swinging strike 3, and Luke Pape is set down on strikes for the 3rd time tonight. And that's the first out here in the bottom of the 6th. Hernandez almost went sidearm on that pitch to get a little more movement. That breaking ball misses up to the hitter, Patrick Fisher, the second baseman, and it's 1 ball, no strikes. Next pitch, a breaking ball, a beauty of a breaking ball in there for a strike. It's 1-1. Hernandez not messing around, working quickly. Here's the wind and the pitch. That one's grounded to second, picked up by Mendez and thrown on to first for 2 down here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Ulysses Hernandez working quickly, not messing around. He's got 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Lance Cox, the leadoff hitter, steps in. He scored the first run for the Windsor Wizards back in the 1st inning as he takes the first pitch down in the zone for a ball. Ulysses Hernandez back up on the mound, wind up, and the pitch. That's a gorgeous breaking ball on the inside corner. It's 1-1. Boy, between Hernandez and Godo, we've seen some filthy breaking balls today that have just frozen these Windsor hitters.
This is my first time watching Ulysses pitch.
Time called at the plate. Hernandez not messing around, man. He gets the ball. He's ready to go. Here's the windup and the pitch. And another called strike on the inside corner. Not only does he not mess around, but he comes right after these hitters, as it's now 1-2 with 2 down here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Ulysses Hernandez with the pitch. That's whacked foul behind us out over the screen. 1 ball, 2 strikes to the leadoff hitter for the Wizards, Lance Cox, playing shortstop today. Like I said, he singled and scored back in the 1st inning. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Just misses down in the zone. It's 2-2.
Good 2-1 pitch.
I've noticed Hernandez really likes to go to that sidearm pitch. And that breaking ball misses down and inside. It's now full at 3-2. Hernandez likes to go to a sidearm slider, basically, when he's got 2 strikes on a hitter. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Cox, and that's grounded foul down the third base line. Count stays at 3-2.
Kind of an exclamation point for Ulysses as he changes things up on you with the same pitch. It's a different release point.
And there's that sidearm slider, and it's popped up and will drift out behind the screen and out of play over the crowd. It's still 3-2. I've noticed he's got about 3 different release points. He'll go to a 3/4 release on his fastball, a little more of an overhand release on his breaking ball, and then he'll drop down to that sidearm when he tries to throw that slider for a strikeout pitch. Here's the 3-2 pitch from Hernandez, and that's chopped over the mound, fielded by the second baseman, and he bobbles it on the exchange. And I'm going to call that an infield single by Lance Cox because I don't think they'd have had a play on him even if he'd have fielded that cleanly.
Cox.
That was a Baltimore chop over the pitching mound. A little bit of miscommunication by the shortstop and the second baseman. I wasn't entirely sure who was going to get it. But regardless, I don't think they'd have had a shot at Cox. He's too fast, so we'll call it an infield single. Now there's a runner on first with 2 down. Hernandez from the stretch. This is low for a ball. The tall Tanner Weimers at the plate. Here's the pitch. Good breaking ball on the inside corner. Called strike. Hernandez doing a good job from the stretch. Kind of a crouch there as he gets ready. That's chopped on 1 bounce to third. Long throw over to first, and they get the out. And that's going to do it. Weimer's retired for the 3rd out. We head to the top of the 7th inning. It's 9-3 in favor of the Fort Morgan Mustangs on B106 and B106.com. Pitching change as we go to the top of the 7th here in Windsor on B106 and B106.com. The Mustangs leading by a score of 9-3, and the new pitcher for Windsor is Trevor Knott. Staying in the game in right field is Duncan Goodrich. And stepping up first here in the 7th inning will be the new pitcher for the Mustangs, who pitched a scoreless half-inning in the bottom of the 6th. It's Ulysses Hernandez. And here's the first pitch from Knott. That's a called strike on the inside corner. No balls, 1 strike.
Knott with quite a bit of velocity coming out.
Big high leg kick by the right-hander as he winds up. Very deliberate in his delivery. And that is lined by Hernandez to center field. Center fielder getting turned around. That's over his head. Hernandez is going to run. He's at second. He's coming around. They're going to wave him all the way to third. Here comes the throw in. Cut off by the shortstop, and he makes the... Nope. He's going to hold on to that. A leadoff triple by Ulysses Hernandez.
That was the last runner on Thursday. Up for the Mustangs.
Good job for the Mustangs to jump on the new pitcher early, getting his head a little bit.
Really, the Mustangs have done a good job all game long of being aggressive early on. And the first pitch to David Mendez. Long on a missed. You can hear the mitt popping when Trevor Knott delivers to the plate. He's got some zip on that fastball. Knott with a runner at third from the windup. Here's the pitch. That one's just high, and it's now 1-1. Mendez grounded out in the first, singled in the second, and struck out in the third. He also doubled in the 5th inning, and he's got a 1-1 count here in the top of the 7th. That one way high. It's 2-1.
Central Auto Parts for all of your auto supply needs. Stop by Central Auto Parts at West Platte Avenue in Fort Morgan.
2 balls, 1 strike to David Mendez, and that pitch bounces in the dirt, and it's 3-1. Ulysses Hernandez, the runner at third, he led off the inning with a triple. He's there with nobody out, and a 3-1 count on David Mendez, the second baseman for the Mustangs. Here's the pitch, and that misses low, and it's a 5-pitch walk. As Mendez will go to first, and we've got runners at the corners with nobody out, and a 9-3 lead for the Mustangs here in the 7th inning.
Now for the Mustangs, outfielder number 21, Matt Godo.
Matt Godo, who started the game on the mound, now at left field, will step to the plate. Godo having a good day so far. He grounded out in the first, reached on an error in the second, then singled and got to third in the fourth. walked back in the 5th, and now he's up here as he watches the first pitch for a strike at the knees. It's 1 strike, no balls, runners at the corners, and nobody out in the top of the 7th inning. Trevor Knott, the new pitcher for the Windsor Wizards here in the 7th. From the stretch, and that pitch misses high. It's 1-1.
This game now, Chris, is 2 hours old.
It's actually doesn't feel like it's been 2 hours. It feels like it's moved along pretty quickly, despite the high run count for Fort Morgan. The runner on first takes off, and that pitch is fouled back and out of play over the screen, and it'll move the count to 1 ball, 2 strikes to Matt Godo.
Definitely doesn't feel like a 2-hour baseball game.
No, it's moved along rather quickly. The weather has been lovely this afternoon. And we still got 1 more inning of baseball to play as there's nobody out here in the 7th. Runners at the corners for the Mustangs, and the 1-2 pitch is fouled back, drifting behind the screen, and that'll be out of play, and the count stays at 1-2 to Matt Godo.
Colorado Plains Medical Center is transforming lives each day. Colorado Plains Medical Center is where people choose to go for health care.
Chris Bolbrom, Braden Snyder from Windsor, Colorado, as the Mustangs lead the Wizards by a score of 9-3 here in the top of the 7th. Nobody out, runners at the corners, and a 1-2 count to Matt Godo. The pitch from Trevor Knott bounces up to the plate. The runner at third will hold, but the runner at first does advance to second. It's now 2-2 the count. Mendez, the runner at first, moves up to second on the wild pitch. And now we've got 2 runners in scoring position with nobody out here in the 7th.
And that eliminates the double play option now that Windsor had set up with that first and third with that pass ball. Now you take that out of the play and gives Matt Godo kind of a little bit of relief, and now he can hit the ball wherever he wants.
Trevor Knott struggling a little bit here in his first inning of relief. He came on here to open the 7th, gave up that leadoff triple to Ulysses Hernandez, and then walked David Mendez. And now, after that pitch in the dirt, he's got runners at second and third and a 2-2 count on Matt Godo. And that pitch is swung on and missed. And he's able to come back and get Godo on the strikeout for the first out. And coming up, shortstop, Mike Fitzsimmons.
Will be the shortstop. Number 14, Mike Fitzsimmons.
Fitzsimmons 1 for 4 on the day. He singled back in the first inning, and that's been about it for him as he steps in here with 2 runners in scoring position, and he watches the first pitch high for a ball. Sun starting to set a little bit, making things interesting out in the field. Shadows starting to creep up. That pitch bounces into the catcher, and it's now 2-0. Boy, I gotta give Greg Medina credit. He has blocked so many balls in the dirt today. He's done a fantastic job of keeping those balls in front of him all day. He's had a tough day behind the plate. Here's the 2-0 pitch, and that's a called strike at the knees, and it's now 2-1.
He hasn't even had a break.
He really hasn't. I mean,
we've seen 3 Windsor pitchers.
3 Windsor pitchers, and each one of them's buried a few pitches in the dirt when they've been on the mound. Medina's done a very good job of keeping those mistakes to a minimum, and that pitch misses low, and it's 3-1. I guess the one positive takeaway from this, if you're a Windsor fan or a Windsor player, is at least your pitchers are keeping the ball down in the zone.
That's true.
They may be missing down in the zone, but at least they're keeping them down in the zone. Here's a 3-1 pitch, and that one's in the dirt, and it's a walk. And now the bases are loaded for the cleanup hitter, Cole Frisbee.
That'll load the bases for the Mustangs, and up for Fort Morgan.
Windsor has been able to get Fort Morgan chasing on that low and outside pitch.
Number 25, Cole.
So we'll see what they do here with Frisbee at the plate with the bases loaded and 1 out.
Mustangs lead it 9-3 as we're in the top of the 7th inning. You heard Braden mention 1 out already. The bases are loaded. Cole Frisbee steps in. He's scored a couple of runs today. He's got 2 hits and a walk, a single, a double, a walk, 2 runs scored, and he's got the bases loaded as the big left-hander steps in here. And the first pitch from Trevor Knott misses off the outside corner, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Frisbee, the first baseman, struck out back in the first, singled and scored in the third, walked in the fourth, and then doubled and scored in the fifth. And that one is grounded in the left field for a base hit. 1 run will score. They're going to wave around the trail runner from second, and he will score. It's a 2-run, 1-out RBI single for Cole Frisbee, and the Mustangs now lead by a score, 11-3.
2 more runs for Fort Morgan, and they now lead the Wizards 11.
Good to see the Mustangs respond after losing to Northridge Saturday, 10-2. Coming back in Tri-Valley League play and kind of showing Windsor what they're made of here early.
Here's the pitch to the DH today, James Martins, and that misses in the dirt for a ball. Ulysses Hernandez and David Mendez coming around to score on that base hit by Cole Frisbee. It's now 11-3 Mustangs. Runners at first and second, still 1 down. The 1-0 pitch to James Martins is on the way, and that misses in the dirt. And it's 2-0.
Martins is the one I'm going to give credit to for starting that rally back in the third inning with that crucial big bunt that kind of confused Windsor.
Yeah, he laid down what was supposed to be a sacrifice, placed it perfectly, and was able to beat it out for a base hit, and would later come around to score. The 2-0 pitch is swung on and fouled back and out of play. Cole Frisbee led off that inning with a solid base hit. Then Martins laid down a bunt and was able to beat it out. Both of them came around to score on a big triple by Aaron Anderson in that third inning that kind of broke the game open. There's a swing and a drive to left field. The left fielder gets underneath it, and he makes the catch for the out, and there's now 2 away as the runner stays put.
The winner for the second out.
2 down in the top of the 7th inning. Mustangs up by 8. It's 11-3. Stepping in, the aforementioned Aaron Anderson, who had that big triple back in the third inning to score 2 runs. Anderson's had a great day at the plate. He singled and scored in the second, tripled and scored in the third, struck out in the fourth, and then singled and scored again in the 6th inning as he steps in here with runners in first and second and 2 down. The first pitch bounces up to the plate, and it's 1-0. The left-handed hitting Anderson up against the right-handed hitting Trevor Knott. Knott from the stretch takes a look at the runners. Here's the pitch, and that's a called strike on the outside corner at the knees. It's 1-1. Talking to the coach this afternoon, he really wanted to make a statement here today against Windsor, and I think you could say that the Mustangs have made a statement.
I couldn't agree more.
Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that misses high, bounces off the catcher's glove, and that's going to move the runners up as they go from first and second to second and third. Consider that a pass ball.
Good job by Fitzsimmons to watch that ball as the catcher thought he had it secured, and it just popped right out. Fitzsimmons had a big jump on it.
Fitzsimmons doing a very good job on the base paths today. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and that's fouled back to the screen, and it's now 2-2. Mike Fitzsimmons, the shortstop, is the runner at third base. He walked. Cole Frisbee is the runner at second. He singled. Both runners moved up on the pass ball by Greg Medina. And it's 2 balls, 2 strikes to the third baseman, Aaron Anderson. And that pitch misses high and away, and it's 3-2. Once again, with a runner on third base, Trevor Knott moving back to the windup. I think maybe he feels that gives him a little more control. Obviously, he doesn't need to pitch from the stretch to keep the runners on at first and second. And here's the full count pitch, and that is nowhere near the zone as it misses high and away. And that's a walk. And the bases are loaded once again with 2 down here in the top of the 7th. And Nick Garver, the center fielder, steps up.
Center fielder, number 5, Nick Garver.
Garver walked back in the second inning and scored the second run for the Mustangs. Laid down a beautiful sacrifice on a squeeze play that scored a run back in the third as he takes a strike at the knees here. And then it flew out in the 4th inning, and then a sacrifice fly back in the 6th inning. And he stands in here with a 0-2 count after he swings and misses at a pitch in the dirt. A little surprised Garver swinging at that pitch in the dirt after so many of the Windsor pitchers have missed down there. That one's inside, and it's now 1-2.
Northern Colorado Title. For all of your title needs, visit Tim Weimer at Northern Colorado Title at 205 West Kiowa in Fort Morgan.
That pitch is grounded past the shortstop and into left field. That'll bring one run home. They're going to wave the runner from second as he'll come around. As the ball got away from the left fielder there, 2 runs come in to score. It's now 13-3 Mustangs as Mike Fitzsimmons scores from third. Cole Frisbee comes around from second. For that, a base hit and an error on the left fielder.
13-3. Runners on second and third.
Carver moves up to second on the misplay by the left fielder. And Anderson moves to third as there's still 2 out, and that pitch misses in the dirt to Nate Alexander. It's 1 ball, no strikes. Here's the 1-0 pitch in the dirt. It's now 2-0. Alexander, the 9th Mustang batter this inning. Trevor Knotts with the 2-0 pitch, and that misses low, and it's now 3-0. The inning started with a triple by Ulysses Hernandez. He would come around to score. David Mendez walked. He would score. Here's the 3-0 pitch, and it's a called strike on the inside corner.
Past both the numbers.
Alexander thought he had ball 4, but apparently not. It's now 3-1. And there's ball 4 as that pitch is nowhere near the zone, and it is now bases loaded once again for the Mustangs with 2 out, and we go back
now hitting for the Mustangs
to where we started as Ulysses Hernandez steps back in. As I mentioned earlier, he led off the inning with a triple. He would come around to score. David Mendez walked. He scored. Matt Goto struck out. Mike Fitzsimmons walked and scored. Cole Frisbee singled and scored. A fly out by James Martins. Aaron Anderson would walk, and he's at third base. Nick Garver singled and advanced to second on an error. The pitch to Hernandez misses low. It's 1 ball, no strikes. Nate Alexander with the walk, and that's where we sit right now. 2 down, and the bases loaded. The Mustangs leading by a score of 13-3. The 1-0 pitch in the dirt, and it's now 2-0.
With this long top of the 7th, now you have to question how Ulysses' arm is with this break. Is he going to be able to come back and get warm quick enough?
And the pitch to Hernandez misses way high, and it's 3-0. And Trevor Knott now in jeopardy of walking in a run. And you're absolutely right. With this long inning, you have to wonder if Hernandez will be back out on the mound. And there's ball 4, and just like that, the runner comes in to score. As Trevor Knott is forced in a run by walking Ulysses Hernandez, and it's now 14-3 in favor of. And it looks like we're going to have a pitching change as the coach heads to the mound. We'll take a break with them. Mustangs leading by a score of 14-3 in the top of the 7th inning. You're listening to B106 and B106.com. Change with 2 down here in the top of the 7th inning. Mustangs leading 14-3 on B106 and B106.com. New pitcher for the Windsor Wizards is number 9, Mitch Winter. And his first pitch to David Hernandez misses down in the zone. 1 ball, no strikes. That pitch is right down the middle for a strike. It's 1-1. Bases are still loaded after the bases loaded walk to force in a run. The next pitch, it's foul and out of play over the screen. It's 1-2. 5 runs here in the 7th inning as the Mustangs have really expanded their lead. Mitch Winter just looking to get an out here. And that's a called strike 3 in the top of the zone, and that's going to do it for this inning. Mustangs pick up 5 runs. It's now 14 to 3 as we head to the 7th inning, the bottom of the 7th on B106 and B106.com. We head to the bottom of the 7th inning in Windsor. Bull Brom and Braden Snyder joining you from Windsor, Colorado. The Fort Morgan Mustangs leading by a score of 14 to 3 after a 5-run top of the 7th inning. Stepping in, DJ Knott, the first baseman. And we wondered, and now we know, Ulysses Hernandez back out on the mound after that long inning. We'll see how it affects him. His first pitch to Knott is swung on and missed for a strike. That was a good pitch to open the inning.
Went to that, his last release point, which is that sidearm release.
Here's the 0-1 pitch, and that's a called strike on the inside corner, and it's 0-2 to DJ Knott. Not shaking his head, not really sure he agreed with it. Perhaps the strike zone getting a little bigger as this game winds on. That ball misses way high and outside. It's 1-2.
Looks like Ulysses got warm enough to where he's just sticking with that sidearm release.
And here's the 1-2 delivery, and that's foul back to the screen. Knott does a good job of staying alive. The count stays at 1-2. Well, if you're Windsor, you enter the 7th inning thinking, 9-3. They're still within striking distance. Now it's 14-3, and not so much. And that pitch is chopped foul back to the screen, and it's still 1-2 to the first baseman, DJ Knott. And when this game started, we talked to the coach. He said DJ Knott is the guy we got to watch out for, and Mustangs have done a good job of keeping him in check today. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That's popped up, drifting towards the first base dugout, and the catch is made in foul territory by Cole Frisbee. 1 down here to start the bottom of the 7th inning.
Really have to credit the Mustang pitchers. Everyone who's come in has handled DJ Ware very, very diligently.
He led off the game with a single. Other than that, he's reached on an error, grounded out, and popped out to first base. So they've done a very good job of keeping him in check. The first pitch from Ulysses Hernandez to the hitter, Rykart Takunaga, misses down in the zone for a ball. And there's a called strike, and it's now 1-1. Hernandez not wasting any time. That pitch is chopped foul down the third base line, and it's now 1-2. Rykart getting his first shot at the plate today. He's down 1-2 to Hernandez. That pitch just a bit inside, and it's now 2-2. Rykart bending in half to get out of the way. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Hernandez. Sets up outside, misses inside, and it's 3-2.
I almost have to wonder if Rykart's bending just because of the way the release is. Those pitches don't look like they're that far.
They don't look like they're missing that far. And that pitch is swung on and missed, and there's a strikeout for David Ulysses Hernandez, striking out the Rykart Takunaga. And that's going to bring up Trevor Knott with 2 down here in the bottom of the 7th inning, and that breaking pitch is a beauty. And it is a called strike 1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swung on a miss, and it's now 0-2 to Trevor Knott as the Wizards are down to their final strike here, trailing 14-3. The 0-2 pitch from Hernandez, chopped foul. Count stays at no balls and 2 strikes. Trevor Knott doing a good job of staying alive there. The 0-2 pitch. Hernandez, wind up and fire. That one is rocketed to left center field, and it's going to get down and roll all the way to the wall. Knott will cruise into second with a stand-up double. And the Wizards are not going down without a fight. It's now 2 outs with a runner on second. And
Anthony Vicarelli.
Anthony Vicarelli stepping up to the plate. Getting his first debut of the afternoon. As he'll face Hernandez here with 2 down in the first pitch. This is low and away for a ball. From the stretch, here's the 1-0 pitch, and that breaking ball was inside, and it caught him in the shoulder, and now we've got runners at first and second with 2 outs. Hernandez trying to work that inside breaking ball, and unfortunately it didn't break, and it caught Vicarelli on that inside shoulder, and now we've got runners at second and first with 2 down here in the bottom of the 7th, and stepping up the right fielder Quentin Moot.
These pitchers are back in action on Saturday. They'll play at 12 o'clock at Fort Morgan.
In case you missed it, these two teams back in action Saturday afternoon as the Wizards head to Fort Morgan. That game starts at noon. And you can hear that on B106 and B106.com. Conference on the mound complete. As Hernandez comes back, he's ready to go, and the first pitch is a called strike. Another dandy of a curveball on the inside corner. That's the pitch he was trying to get in there to Vicarelli that didn't break and caught him in the shoulder. Runners take their leads. Hernandez, and that one caught him in the elbow. And that's back-to-back pitches. Those back-to-back hitters that have been hit by pitches.
Vicarelli goes to second.
Hernandez trying his best to work inside. Unfortunately, that one caught Moot square in the elbow, and he looks to be in some pain as he takes a couple of laps around first base trying to walk it off.
My guess would be Hernandez is throwing high 60s, mid 70s with that fastball. I know personally I would not want to take that off the elbow.
I heard it hit, and it was one of those delayed reactions when you hit your elbow and you're like, oh, that didn't hurt so bad. Oh, never mind, I lied. Because Moot threw down the bat and was headed to first, and all of a sudden he just doubled over in pain as though that pain relay hit his brain all of a sudden. Nevertheless, the bases are loaded with 2 down here in the bottom of the 7th inning. What looked to be a quick inning has now been extended, and Hernandez's first pitch to Luke Pape is high for a ball. It's 1-0. That pitch, on the other hand, is in the zone at the knees for a called strike, and is now 1-1. Hernandez back from the windup. Here's the pitch, and that one is chopped foul at the plate, and it's now 1-2. Personally, I think Hernandez is more comfortable out of the windup, and so working out of the windup here with the bases loaded could work to his benefit, as he's been able to locate his pitches much better on those last 2 deliveries. Hernandez winds up. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That one misses low and away in the dirt. It's 2-2. Tried to get him with that sidearm slider, and unfortunately couldn't get him to chase. Pape has struck out all 3 times at the plate today. He's got the bases loaded with 2 out. The 2-2 pitch. That one bounces up in the dirt. Gets past the catcher for a second, but Flug able to track it down, and the runners stay put. Bases still loaded. The count is full. There's 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th inning, and the Mustangs lead by a score of 14-3. Hernandez with the full count delivery, and that misses high, and he's walked in a run. And it's now 14-4.
Get a run for the Wizards. Really, that's the third. It moves to second.
That moves Vicarelli down to third. Moot moves down to second, and Luke Pape is the runner at first. And the first pitch to Patrick Fisher, the second baseman, is in the dirt for a ball.
Similar situations again for both teams. Both pitchers struggling in the last inning.
There's that curveball on the inside corner for a called strike. Well, we wondered if the long inning would have an effect on Hernandez, and he came out firing. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that's on the outside corner for a called strike. And once again, the Wizards are down to their final strike. We thought Hernandez might struggle out of the gate. In fact, he came out strong, and that one is chopped foul down the third baseline. Count stays at 1-2. And then, after a pop-up and a strikeout, he gave up a double, hit 2 batters, and has walked in a run, and it's now 14-4. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And that one misses outside, and it's 2-2. Perhaps Hernandez fishing for the strike zone here, or fishing for the strikeout here, instead of just trying to get the last out, trying too hard to get a swing and a miss. That one's chopped down the third baseline, fielded, bobbled by the third baseman. He tried to barehand it. It's an infield base hit, and it's going to score another run. Vicarelli comes in to score. That's the second run of the inning, and it's now 14-5 in favor of the Mustangs. Moving to third, Quentin Moots. Luke Pate moves to second, and Patrick Fisher on that base hit is at first. And we go back to the top of the order as Lance Cox, the shortstop, steps in. Cox singled and scored the first run of the game, and then he singled back in the fourth and singled again in the sixth. Flew out in the second there. And the first pitch is a called strike. And once again, Hernandez getting the first pitch strike. Let's see if he can put him away here with 2 down. That pitch misses low, and it's now 1-1.
Looks like he's trying to work that fastball too much instead of just letting his technique and form follow through for him. He's trying to move it.
There's a good off-speed pitch as he gets Cox out in front, and he swings and misses to make the count 1-2. And once again, the Wizards down to their final strike. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and that misses high. Came after him with that breaking ball and just missed out of the zone. The 2-2 pitch to Cox, and that's a called strike 3, and that is going to do it for the ball game. A hit, 2 hits, 2 hit batters, a walk, and 3 runners left on. The final score from today's game, the Fort Morgan Mustangs 14, 5 runs for the Windsor Wizards. We'll take a quick break, and we'll give you the stats when we come back on B106 and B106.com. The final score from Windsor today, the Fort Morgan Mustangs win it by a score of 14-5. Taking a look at the final line score, 14 runs on 15 hits and 3 errors for the Mustangs. 5 runs, 7 hits, and 3 errors for Windsor. The winning pitcher today was Matt Goto. He went 5 innings, giving up 3 runs on 4 hits, 4 walks, and 8 strikeouts. The losing pitcher today was Tanner Weimer. He went 3 1/3, giving up 7 runs on 9 hits, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. The save goes to Ulysses Hernandez. He pitched 2 innings, giving up a hit, 4 walks, and picking up a strikeout. We're going to wrap things up. My huge thanks go to our board op today, Trent, and my assistant, Braden Snyder from Windsor, Colorado. The final score today, the Fort Morgan Mustangs 14, the Windsor Wizards 5 on B106 and B106.com.